Recently, a subsection of the Minecraft community has gone and proposed a bunch of different currencies. To name a few, wheat, diamonds, and nether stars. Why do all these theories sound so convincing when they are all so different? What if I told you they can all be correct at the same time? These currencies have been designed by all kinds of different creators, so isn't it natural that they all solve different problems? Basically, we are chasing a unicorn currency, when we should be looking for a troop of horses. That is, a variety of different good solutions to different problems. There is no obvious way to compare these systems. Dragon's Breath was proposed because it's not farmable. Wheat was chosen because it is. Surely one system didn't just ignore an obvious problem. The only possible explanation is that these systems must be solving different problems. I'm going to sort these systems into categories. These categories are not based on how our currency works. Instead, they will be organized by the problem they work best at solving. A large complaint with some currency systems is that some players might decide not to use them. It can be frustrating when players lack trust in the system and won't use your currency. I have seen solutions to this, and they come in one of two flavors. The first type of solution is both obvious and used all the time. Why not use the currency that players already use? This is exactly what I'm Mr. Pip argues for. Generally accepted currencies have been used for many years and include things like diamonds. You don't have to do any work to earn the player's trust. Generally accepted currencies work well in casual servers where players already interact naturally. They are simple and trusted by the community. But of course, there are problems with this type. After some time playing the game, players will exhaust all their uses for diamonds. When this happens, some players might not want to use them anymore. The function that diamonds had provided a source of trust. When this function disappears, trust leaves with it. After some time, diamonds and currencies like it can stack up with no use. Players will stop valuing them, and the system might fail. This is not always what happens, but for reasons I will discuss later, only smaller servers can sustain generally accepted currencies for a long time. Since diamonds don't work for every server, other systems need to manufacture trust through artificial legitimacy. In this form, we see currencies like KCJ's Annis plus F system, fiat systems, and systems backed by taxes. Essentially, KCJ proposed a currency where third-copy signed books are issued to prevent counterfeiting. Then, a central bank allows players to swap valuable items, in this case nether stars, for the paper currency. Artificial legitimacy incorporates currency like this into game mechanics as a way to build trust with the players. For example, Pinecone LP's system uses wheat as a payment for protection, and the dragon egg system requires the dragon egg to be consumed in order to respawn. KCJ proposes server taxes that need to be paid in the currency. Another big idea is fiat, being money that is not supported by inherently valuable items. You can use fiat because, when trusted, it provides more flexibility for the national bank. Trust is typically built by things like server taxes or shops. Trying to solve the same problem, commodity-backed currency is a sort of hybrid of commodity currency, where it uses a paper currency backed by valuables to try and make the system more flexible. Players can typically switch out of their paper valuables at any time, but the worth of this type is reliant on the worth of the currency it is backed by. By using centralized fiat, you could make the system a bit more fair by accepting different forms of work for it. You could issue a currency based on items from multiple different activities, and in this way it could become more fair to different playstyles of players. Many of these could also work well in communities that are technical and committed. Of course, it is also perfect for economy roleplay. While artificial legitimacy can work, it is not perfect either. They are hard to understand, especially for those who don't care. Artificial legitimacy is not going to work if people don't have some level of existing trust in the server. It merely uses trust from other parts of the server to create legitimacy for the chosen currency. A system might fail because no one accepts it, but that isn't a failure of design. It depends instead on player trust. Even when players trust the currency, sometimes it just becomes worthless. Massive farms are made. New players might join and see no way to catch up. People leave because money does not feel valuable anymore. This is the principle of inflation. Inflation is an issue for all kinds of different servers. The good news is that some types of currencies were created in response. Among these are wheat, poisonous potatoes, dragon's breath, dragon eggs, and NS+F. Since money just stacks up over time, some solutions try to slow down the rate at which a player can make it. This is called supply limiting, where admins might, for example, ban farming. Even with good supply limiting, after a long time, currency will still stack up with no use. Vanilla Minecraft is generally not great at this, as most items are not naturally used enough. Unlike real life, the growth in supply does not increase the amount of people using the supply. In response, some of the proposed currencies use a natural disposal loop, otherwise known as a sink. For example, wheat might be used to make bread, or a tax might need to be paid. Using some form of supply limiting in sinks, inflation can be controlled. Inflation is a problem for all servers, but different sizes of servers have to deal with it differently. On smaller servers, inflation can be softened through social agreements, like giving new players resources to help them start out or making trade concessions to protect relationships. On large servers, there isn't a social way for players to adjust to growing imbalances, as most players don't know or interact with each other directly. As the size of the server increases, there is more of a need for formal inflation control. However, there are also problematic side effects to inflation control that require control over the server, which, as Mr. Pibb mentioned, can make players resent the admins. This is actually common among all proposed currencies, as they often assume admin involvement. Of course, currencies could theoretically be player-made, but this is for another time. When you implement inflation control, you should consider the size of the community, as well as what the community is okay with. If you add inflation control to smaller servers, you risk hurting the social experience with too much control, but it is often necessary in larger servers. But solving inflation introduces a new problem for some types of players. Many players appreciate the freedom that Minecraft brings to them. You might want to build a farm on a server so you can go work on another project. If you're not allowed to build that farm, you might consider leaving. This problem has sparked a ton of debate in the community, because it makes implementation of systems really hard. Mr. Pibb was one of the first to recognize the desire for player freedom, arguing for a system in which the players decide what to do. Solutions along those lines are already common on Anarchy servers and most vanilla survival realms. There, the admin does not create any rules. Instead, the players should be expected to trade through barter. Some communities can even take this a step further and use generalized reciprocity, where they give each other goods and services, trusting that the other person will remember and return the favor. The broad freedom that is offered by these systems works great for small communities that already have a lot of trust. People are more likely to trade if they already know each other. This might not be the same for larger communities. Since trust is generally low in large servers, trade might not happen very often. Some players find these kinds of anarchies fun or create their own trusts, but this can be rare. It all depends on how the players want their server to operate. When players want freedom, the freer systems work well. Otherwise, servers might be better off creating a system for their players. Sometimes when freedom exists, players might not choose to interact or build. Some people say it's too easy to be self-sufficient in vanilla Minecraft. This is another problem, as player interaction is what creates a lot of fun playing Minecraft servers. This is a problem that was prioritized by creators like Pinecone LP when they created systems like farming currency and used proximity-based systems. The idea is to create an incentive for players to settle and to interact with their neighbors. When you use a currency like wheat, the player has to farm and therefore has to settle and wait. At the same time, some incentives are created for wars and other social organizations. A world border might be used to force proximity. This type of system works well for creating builds and trade, since players are forced to develop relationships with their neighbors. However, in Pinecone LP's system, and those like it, players are restricted to one playstyle of the game. Players might not want to build or farm. Of course, if there's enough trade, then you could find your own playstyle, but this might not happen. If trade does not emerge, then incentives can become restrictions. You may use the system's incentivizing settlement, but in the process you must give up total freedom. Overall, the system works well if the player is okay with the playstyle type introduced, but it can be too controlling for other player types. Speaking of playstyle, many might start a server as a casual player. No matter what is going on, it is really easy to get overwhelmed by complexity when you join. Everything just seems so complicated and unreachable. Naturally, some systems already exist to make players feel more comfortable. Diamonds, ores, items, and simple admin fiat are examples of currencies that promote simplicity. New players feel comfortable with these because they may have used them before and know how they work. They know that everyone values them. This type of solution is perfect when players already trust each other. Small communities, simple SMPs, and friend servers already make great use of these. Admins of smaller servers don't need to overthink it. Even some larger servers use simple admin fiat. But of course, there are plenty of problems when you use these at scale. If there's not enough trade between players, you usually have to do some kind of repetitive task to obtain the money, which not all players like. As mentioned before, simpler systems might have problems that pop up at scale, and players are sensitive to admin currency, as it might be easy for them to lose trust. There's nothing wrong with simple currencies when they are used. Problems just start to appear with larger populations or without trade. There is a trend in the other problems that you might have noticed. The players. The economy you choose to create succeeds or fails based on how players want to play the game. Remember that optimizing the economy for the maximum possible efficiency and output is not fun for every single type of player. Creators like Mr. Piv have already pointed out this fact. Players need to choose how they want to play. When building an economy, it is important to weigh out trade-offs, like those mentioned in this video, in order to create an economy that players have fun in. For the right audience, of course, optimization can be fun. So, what is the best currency? That question really depends on what you're trying to build. Planners like stability. Explorers want freedom. But different systems will support these goals differently. It turns out that the best currency really just depends on you and your community. Trust, inflation, playstyle freedom, incentives, accessibility. It's impossible for one system to solve all of them. Many servers actually have to deal with several of these problems at the same time. The trick is figuring out which problems are the most important to your community. Your system should be chosen or designed based on that. Thank you so much for watching. It is worth noting here that the script was peer-reviewed by the good people shown on the screen right now. I'm going to be honest here, this video was nowhere near as neat as I thought it would be, but they really helped me clarify my points. I met them on a new community called the Minecraft Server Theory Institute, which was started by King Game 2000, and now has other YouTubers in it, including myself and Matcha Tea. If you have your own ideas on Minecraft server theory, I encourage you to join with the link in the description. I really hope this debate keeps going, but I'm going to just point out one simple fact. This fact is the entire reason why all these systems are so convincing and different at the same time. You can't claim that you have the best currency if your best is different from someone else's best.